Welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of BigBlendMagazines.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Big Blend Radio's Vacation Station Travel Show. Today we are focusing on the upcoming solar eclipse that will happen April 8th, 2024. It's going to be visible across North America. It's going to pass through Mexico, go across the United States and into Canada. And it actually starts in the South Pacific Ocean. And this is going to be super exciting. And I think it's going to be one of the last ones we have for a while. So this is one of those bucket list things to do. And today we have 4 guests joining us. 2 of them are travel writers and 2 of them are innkeepers. So I love this. We have travel and tourism, and the inns, these bed and breakfasts, are actually in the path of totality. And so we're going to have a great conversation. Before we get there, I do want to give a shout out to our friend Ward Heinrichs. We're stealing his show, but not really. He is an employment attorney based out of San Diego. Ward Heinrichs is on the show every 4th Wednesday, and he was kind and said, okay, take my regular show time. He's super busy because, as many of you may know, California has a lot of laws and a lot of new ones. And anyway, he is super busy with all the new laws, and he loves to travel. He loves the outdoors, and actively represents businesses and employees who work in the world of tourism. So you can check him out at bestemploymentattorneysandiego.com, and I'll put links to everything. He's on the show, like I said, every 4th Wednesday. It's got articles in our different magazines, especially Big Weekly Blend and Success Express. But let's get to our awesome guests. I'm going to start with Eva Eldridge. You've heard her on our shows before. She's a travel writer. She's an editor, and definitely a traveler, and you can keep up with her at evaeldridge.com. So welcome back, Eva. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So I remember this happening, the solar eclipse, and it was August 2017. And
yeah,
I remember coming through a little bit in Tucson, but your focus today is really to tell us what you did in 2017, because you went on like a eclipse road trip, right?
Yeah, we went up to Wyoming. We ended up in Douglas. It was a matter of where we could find a place to spend the night because it was the hotels had increased their prices to the point of ridiculousness for this.
Mm.
So we were going to go up to, I believe we were going to go up to Casper, but we ended up in Douglas, which was fine because I used to have family there. Anyway, we stayed in this nice-ish sort of hotel that was right off the freeway. It was really funny because we had, we bought chairs and stuff, and we camped outside while this started, and then like a busload of people got dropped off, and they had their cameras and they had all their stuff, and they ran around, and during the, they were taking pictures during the eclipse, and then afterwards they get in the bus and go up on the freeway, which was at a standstill. So we sat and watched the freeway. We were there for 2 nights, the night before and the night after. We couldn't have got out. People said it took them 14 hours to get from Cheyenne or Casper or Douglas to Denver. It's only like a 3-hour trip max. Yeah, 14 hours on the freeway because it was solid. So the eclipse was the most amazing thing. I didn't get good pictures because I don't have that kind of camera, but, it's just started getting dim, like when there's a light covering of clouds.
Mm-hmm.
It got dimmer and then dimmer and cooler, and then during the full eclipse, the street lights came on.
Okay, so this is going to be an interesting conversation with our innkeepers for sure. But you've already raised one thing to be aware of, is possibly get to where you're going for the eclipse early, and make your reservations early. And there's going to be a reason, like for bed and breakfast, because there's a limited amount of space in a hotel and limited amount of space for the inn. So excited to have innkeepers on the show. I want to bring Elaine Masters back on. Elaine is a travel writer. She's an author. world traveler. I mean, how many countries, Elaine? Welcome back. How many countries do you think that it's been now?
I have not counted, but a lot. I need to do
Yeah.
that count.
What was the last country?
Let's see. I was last in Egypt.
Yeah. And then you just got back from rafting the Colorado River, right?
I did. That was absolutely a trip of a lifetime. Waited 2 years for that.
Wow. See, okay. See, this is the planning. Sometimes it takes time to get to the destination. Everyone, you can go to Elaine's website, tripwellgal.com. Again, I'll link everything in the show notes for you, no matter where you're listening to this. But Elaine, you're actually going to Mexico. So you're at almost like the beginning for the North America of the eclipse.
Yes. And, there's two eclipses. One is the annular, which is partial, and that's coming up real quick. And then there is the total eclipse, which is happening next spring. And that's the one that I am going to Mexico for.
Wow. Okay. So that's exciting. Yeah. And that's the one we're talking about is the Mexico one. This is the big bucket list one, right? Because I don't know when the next one. Yeah. We're talking about the April one. And so
right.
this is exciting. We're going to go over to Arkansas to near Hot Springs. And you've heard everybody on the show before. Tiffany Bertram, Tiffany and her husband Bob own and run Tiffany's Bed and Breakfast, just outside Hot Springs, which, Hot Springs is a national park. The actual community is a park, and it is awesome. We've stayed there quite a few times. We visit every year, and they're going to be in the path of totality. And I don't think you really have to worry about streetlights at Tiffany's because they're on 60 acres. So go to tiffany'sbedandbreakfast.com. So welcome back, Tiffany. How are you?
Hi, thank you. No street lights to worry about here.
Yeah, you're in the middle of the sticks, literally, right?
Just 14 miles.
Yeah,
it
14 miles from
feels like we're in the middle of nowhere, but we're really not.
Yeah, but you've got nature all around you. It's like
exactly.
log cabin, but I don't want to say it's a log cabin style house. It's not a cabin because it's big.
It's a log cabin home, but it's not I guess log style would be accurate.
It's beautiful. All I can say is if you want the nature experience, definitely do that. Now we're going to go up to Erie. I'm trying to go in totality here. The path as best we can. We're going to go up to Erie, Pennsylvania to another amazing bed and breakfast. This one is on Millionaire Street because this is a Victorian mansion. It is la-di-da and just the antiques, but also right around the corner from Presque Isle, which is a state park. It's one of the top beaches. To me, this state park should be a national park status. In fact, I think the whole area should be a national heritage area because there's so much history and so much nature. And then you got Lake Erie. Like I was saying before we started recording, I spent their anniversary, and this is Steve and Lisa Fraze. They own and run Spencer House Bed and Breakfast. Their anniversary is on my birthday, and my birthday evening was one of the best sunsets I've ever experienced over water at Presque Isle. And it was just a great experience. And you can go to spencerhousebnb.com. So welcome back, Steve. How are you?
I'm good, Lisa. How are you doing?
Doing good. Happy anniversary. How many years now?
It was 5 years. So we're now starting our 6th year.
Wow. Well, I'm turning 16. How about that? Good. It is so good to hear your voice and have you back on the show. And so in the path of totality, are you going to have people set up? Because I don't remember your street being like super busy. I know it's Millionaire's Row or Millionaire Street and has its history of opulence, right. Your street. But do you think people are going to sit out on because your balcony is cool? That is a cool place that people watch. Are people going to watch from there, or do you think they'll go to Presque Isle?
We actually set something up for our guests. We're actually taking them to a vineyard just outside the city. So they're actually going to get to enjoy the eclipse from out in the middle of one of the vineyards up in Lake Erie wine country. So no street lights, no lights from downtown. It'll be a darker and a much more enjoyable experience than it would be here in the city, where they're going to have street lights and other building lights and things that'll be coming on as things get dark. So we designed a unique experience for our guests.
Is this the same vineyard we went to with you?
Actually, it is. Yeah, courtyard
Ah,
here.
dude, Courtyard Vineyard. Okay, I'm going to link in the show notes to the interview we did. It wasn't an interview, it was a wine tasting recording that we did at the vineyard. Steve and Lisa set us up to meet with them, and it's Randy and Laura Graham that own and run the Courtyard, and they took us on a tour of the vineyards of Lake Erie, and you can literally see Canada from parts of the area. So,
Yep.
oh my gosh, like Eva, how do you feel about that versus sitting on a highway, like a vineyard?
Well, it's pretty awesome. I would much rather do that than sit on the highway, but you know, you do what
Yeah,
you have to do.
I know. I'm just saying this, the vineyard setting sounds good. Oh my gosh. And to have their wine, and they have good
Well, and
wine.
I think we're heading to Illinois to stay with my friend who lives in Christopher and is a small place. So we might be
Good.
taking our pod to Christopher, Illinois for this because they're in the swath.
Oh, cool. That's very cool. So a little camping
That's
going on. Yeah.
It's a
I
little
like,
closer than Arkansas or Pennsylvania for us.
yeah. Well, yeah, you're just from Tucson, just a little road trip. I wanted to go, Tiffany, for your experience for your guests. You've got that beautiful front yard. You've got your deck. You've got a place for s'mores. What's happening for your guests?
We're doing all of that. We will start the morning with a special Eclipse breakfast, and then the time of the eclipse starts right around noon for us. So we're going to have a special exclusive viewing party for all of our guests that they'll get eclipse viewing glasses. Hot Springs National Park did a commemorative poster for the eclipse. So every room will get one of those. And then our party will have, we'll serve lunch on the front lawn. And we'll have each room will also get a picnic blanket to take home with them. And then that night after the eclipse, since no one's going to want to get out in that traffic, we're going to do s'mores and drinks around the fire pit.
Seriously. Okay. This is too
Seriously.
cool. This is too cool. Steve, I mean, you've got the vineyard now. Are you guys going early to the vineyard, to kind of beat traffic? I mean, apparently traffic's a big deal for this.
Yeah, we're actually, of course, we're going to serve a breakfast as always in the morning, and then we're going to actually leave by limo bus about 11 o'clock
Wow.
to head up to the vineyard, and then the actual eclipse isn't until around I think like around 2:30 if I remember. But we're going to do little things, some tastings, and a little charcuterie thing at the vineyard or at the winery. And then we're going to go out to the vineyard and set up and watch the eclipse. And once the eclipse is over, we're going to head back to the vineyard or back to the winery, I should say. And we're going to do a private tour of the winery with Randy. And then we're going to have a farm to table dinner right there at the winery as well. And then after that's done, hopefully traffic's calmed down a little bit and then we'll be transporting all of our guests back to here.
Wow. You guys are all like planning something like an exceptional experience. And I want to get into how guests can do this and if it's even too late or what, because man, oh man, there's only so many rooms at the inn, but, I want to go over to Elaine since she's going to Mexico. Tell us where you're going, Elaine, and what do you anticipate happening for you?
Well, I think someone already mentioned how lodging can be terribly expensive when you're in the path of the eclipse. And we found that even trying to get to Mexico for this one. I'm going to be gathering with some other family members. And the idea was originally we were going to go to Texas. We couldn't find accommodations for our group that were affordable at that time. So we started looking at other options, and it is easy and affordable to get to Mexico. We will be in Mazatlan. The full eclipse is available from there. And what we ended up finding is an Airbnb for a family, and that's going to work for us. It's very loosely set up right now. We just know we will be there for the day before and the day of the eclipse. And then we're going to be able to transfer as people start to go home for a few extra days at the accommodations that the rest of the family want, because they've got kids. They want the big resort pools and stuff like that. So there's different ways to make it work. And I'm really looking forward to being there.
I think that's a good point too. Multi-generational travel is, happening pretty big, and it's you have to kind of do that, where I know that even with cruises and things, like, the whole family will gather for one part, and then the others are like, okay, we've done our family time. Now it's a split off time, to try and make everyone happy. You know what I mean? And yet still balance that family time, so that's cool what you're doing. And you get to go to Mexico. We love Mexico. Have you been to Mazatlan before?
I was as a teenager, so I'm looking forward to returning. And actually, my husband and I are going to leave the week before to visit some sites in Guadalajara and along the tequila route. The train. We hope to take the tequila train between.
I'm coming with you.
Tequila. Yeah,
I'm coming. There's a tequila train?
There is indeed. Yes.
Uh-oh. I might have to
Hopefully
come with you.
we'll be clear enough to get up to the Mazatlan. No, I'm just teasing.
I know, but I'm just saying, okay, put me in your suitcase and my hand will just keep coming out for some more tequila. I can see this little cartoon thing going on there, but that's so cool. I love this because it's like, Eva, you did this road trip, right? And that's kind of a epic thing too, going up even to Douglas and all of that. I just think you get to travel, you're going to go camping. So we have 3 different ways of doing it here, in your R pod. And, that's an interesting thing too. For those who don't know what an R pod is, can you tell everybody, because it's bigger than a teardrop, right? Camper.
Yes. Yeah, our pod is made by Forest River, and there's several different sizes, models of that. And we have the second to the smallest one. We have our pod 171. It's basically 17 feet end to end on the inside, and not all of that space. I mean, some of it's like under a bunk. It's very tight, but we have a 2-burner stove and a sink, and we have a bathroom, which is the shower. You have to sit on the toilet to take a shower, but we do have a toilet, and we have a dinette that converts into a bunk. So there's very little floor space for our very large dog, but we get her in there too. So the lightweight, it's lightweight, and we have an awning. We call it the eyebrow, that hang out on the outside. And now I have a pop-up clam, so we have a screened-in enclosure. So we got it because we expected it to be outside more than we were, but then it was either really hot or or raining, one of the two. So we ended up spending a lot of time inside, but it's okay because Jeff goes and crawls into the back RV queen-size bed, and I sit up at the bunk, the dinette in the front, and we can keep ourselves entertained. And you can drag that thing almost anywhere. It's very lightweight, and we pull it with a Ford F-150, and we haven't had problems with that. So
That's
you
awesome.
can, and you can go without being hooked up. We have solar panels, so we can go without being hooked up, or you can go to an RV park and get the full hookup.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of versatile.
Yeah, I don't know if you've checked out Hip Camp. That's something interesting, and Harvest Host too. They do some cool stuff. So that's a cool road trip. Yeah, Harvest Host and Hip Camp are really some cool outlets. And then of course recreation.gov for camping in your parks. That's a great place to reserve if you're going to do a camping road trip. Let me go back to Tiffany. Tiffany, in regards to your guests, how are you managing that? Because I know sometimes there can be last minute cancellations, and then, what happens, and did you create a special package? How does that work for you? And then I'll go to Steve.
Sure. We did create a special package, and we held off a little bit. We just opened up reservations within the last few days. We still do have 2 rooms left. So anyone wants to book, you can go to our website, check out the total package. but they do need to call us to make the reservation since it's a time experience. We're not doing online reservations. They need to call us, and we'll go through all of it with them.
Oh, okay, cool. And don't try to do it through an OTA or anything like that. What do you call them? Like,
There's no.
you know those people.
They won't be.
I didn't say the full name.
We're not putting it out on them.
Yeah. And
you
listen,
don't want to go through them through anything.
Yeah, and here's a good tip for travelers. Like, you think you're going to save all this money and all of that, going through a third party site. And if you want to add a guest or make any kind of changes, it's a hassle. And Nancy and I have been through it and learned the hard way, even after telling people not to do it on shows. And then we were somewhere and I did it and I went, "You're such an idiot." And it was, language is a little bit worse than that. And then once we've done it, now you can use it for research. And
yeah.
I remember we were somewhere in Kansas and the wind was picking up, go figure. And we ended up at this hotel and I just went and I said, "Listen, I need where your internet is," right? And through the OTA, we need internet. Everybody knows, like, if we whine if we don't have internet. And this one hotel, like, I couldn't do anything about it. They didn't even let us know there was a complete internet. That's it. No internet. Too bad. And I'm going, oh, we are so, in trouble here with some, stuff we had to get done deadline wise. But then when I did it without the third party in a different hotel, I was able, they put us right next to the room of modems. They were so kind, didn't change our rates, didn't do anything. And of course, they got a 5-star review. They were awesome, or 10 stars, whatever it is. So I think you've got to be, and to have the connection with the owners or, whoever is managing the hotel or the inn is much better. Steve, would you agree? Do you like the third parties or do you prefer people to connect with you and Lisa directly?
We much prefer them connecting directly because the OTAs limit our communications with our guests, and they also charge us a commission. So not only do our guests end up paying a little more, but we end up getting less because we have to pay commission. So it's there's something that we use, but we don't necessarily. We prefer guests to book directly through our website.
Yeah, it's not, and for small business, that's so much better. So how are you handling the reservations for the solar eclipse in April?
We are actually completely full. In fact, we've been full since March. We had actually had a waiting list, people that were calling ahead of time. So we opened reservations up and started calling the people on our wait list, and we filled our rooms with the first few people on our wait list. In fact, we still have, I think, 15 people on our wait list just in case we get any cancellations. We're actually not even taking any additional wait lists, adding to the wait list. I mean, because we have so many people that are on it. So yeah, we opened up, it was end of March when we opened that up. And once we got all the pieces together and had our package set up, we started calling the wait list, and yeah, it filled up. Everybody was very interested in doing the package and staying with us. Cool. So we filled up in a hurry.
Well, listen, and going to the vineyard is amazing, and it's such a beautiful trail. So can you give everyone just a brief overview of Spencer House Bed and Breakfast, and just even the fact that you're, by the Hagen House across the street and so close to Presque Isle. I mean, I really was Nancy and I both were blown away, not only by your bed and breakfast and the history of the house, and just, I mean, it's just a special, special place. The history of Erie, Pennsylvania, is massive. I mean, if you're a history lover, you must go. Oh, and if you're a nature lover, you must go. And if you're an art lover, you must go. So, I think, you've got a little bit of all of that at the inn.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, basically, we're in a historic mansion, built in 1876, a big Victorian mansion, with 6 rooms, with private bathrooms. And as you mentioned, we are located on Millionaires Row right here in Erie, and we're very conveniently located to, of course, Presque Isle State Park is probably the biggest jewel here in the area for people to visit, but also a number of attractions. Like you said, the Hagen History Center is literally a block and a half down the road. The Bayfront with the Maritime Museum, which has a lot of information on the Battle of Lake Erie and things like that, which is another part of the historic parts of Erie. They're less than a mile from us. We have lots of restaurants nearby. But yeah, Presque Isle's the big jewel. And as you mentioned, it should be a national park. It actually gets more visitors than Yellowstone. In fact, it's in the top 10 as far as the number of visitors we get each year of all parks throughout the entire United States. So it's definitely a place that people enjoy, as you did with the sunset.
And the cruise on the Kate,
on the Lady Kate, yeah, the
Lady
Lady
Kate,
Kate
we went.
cruise, yeah.
You forget you're on a lake. It's because you're so surrounded by water and seagulls are there, so it messes with you. And then there's lighthouses, and you're going, oh yeah, they need. And there's all this history of sunken ships and pirates. In fact, the winery has pirate things going on in there. But we had so much fun, and then there's wine trails, and it goes. I mean, you could spend 2 weeks and still not see it all. And there's public art, and I mean, I loved it. Nancy and I loved it. Nancy's like, I want to go back to Presque Isle and hang out because there's marshes, there's kayaking, canoeing, and cycling, and there was so much nature. And
Yeah.
I want to go for like the Four Seasons because I want to see it in the snow. And do you
Oh,
get the
yeah.
fall colors coming up? You've got to,
Oh
right?
yeah, a couple weeks. Yeah,
Mm.
we'll be peak season probably the second or third week of October is usually when we're in peak color here right along the lake.
Oh, wow. And then you get the ice, the lake freezes, like you have waves of ice. So that's
Yeah, the
cool.
ice dunes. They don't form every winter, but most winters they do. They didn't last winter. It was a warm winter for us, so the lake didn't freeze over, neither did the bay. But and we hardly had any snow, actually, believe it or not, last winter. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it was weird.
That wasn't our experience on the road. I'm telling you. Yeah. So maybe we'll come see you. But the snow is neat. It's interesting. Tiffany over at Tiffany's Bed and Breakfast, it's 60 something acres, right? That people can
Yes,
experience.
62 acres.
Yeah. And what's actually interesting, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, is that Hot Springs is somewhat known as actually being a national park before Yellowstone, right? I know there's some scandal on that, and I'll get myself in trouble for saying it, but it's Spa City, right? So you can go soak, if it's like
Yes.
really cold, you can go soak in the hot springs.
Hot
Or in the
Springs was
bathhouse.
created as a national reservation before the National Park Service existed. So, yes, we do claim to be the first national park.
So there.
And we are, yeah, we're only 14 miles from Hot Springs. We've got Hot Springs National Park. We've got 3 state parks within half an hour at the most of our location. And the only diamond mine in the world that is open to the public is 45 minutes from us, the Crater of Diamonds State Park, where you can dig for diamonds and take home anything you find.
Oh, wow. That's amazing, man. I want to do that. So we haven't done that. But Lake DeGray by you, or DeGray Lake, Lake DeGray, you have bald
The
eagles.
Gray Lake.
Yeah, DeGray Lake.
Bald
You've got
eagle.
bald eagles. They're amazing. Just to be there and experience them.
Pretty much all year round, too.
And Hot Springs has public art, baseball history. They have Tiny Town, which you know we love. And then they have mafia history. And they have a brewery inside a national park. It's the only brewery. And they make the beer from the actual hot springs, and it's inside a bathhouse. Did I get that right? Because I remember enjoying the beer. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And
It's the only brewery in a national park and the only one in the world to brew beer with the thermal water.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
pretty cool.
Everyone, Tiffany's Bed and Breakfast. You got to go. You got to go to Spencer House. Elaine, where are you going next before Mexico? Because I know there's no way you're sitting still. She's in San Diego, which, you know, also, by the way, is one of the first national park units we covered was Cabrillo National Monument out there, which we love.
One of my favorite places. The tide pools there are just amazing.
Oh, and you're getting close to whale season, aren't you? Whale watching season?
Yeah.
Oh,
this winter, every winter they migrate through.
Yeah. It's awesome. And the tide pools are good in the fall, right? October, November, I think, is one of the best times.
Well, anytime it's dry, you can climb on those. It's on the western side of the Cabrillo Monument, where the peak of it with the Rosecrans National Cemetery, and then the original lighthouse is up there. And then they found out the fog was too thick for it to work, so they built a lighthouse down near the tide pools.
Check that out. See lighthouse history. So where's next?
Well, I just received notice that there is going to be a 10,000 people meditation course in India. I am planning to go to Hyderabad for my birthday for the first 2 weeks of January. I just have to figure out how to get there.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's like a big wow, 10,000 people meditating at once.
Exactly.
Well, can you clear all the, the drama of the world? Like while you do that, kind of like put good vibes out and like, some
Well,
kindness. I'm just saying.
that is a lot of what the goal is. They have quantified that when you get a lot of people doing these particular techniques at the same time, it does have a very peaceful, healing effect on the environment. And we're hoping with the numbers that we looks like we're going to get, that it will have an impact. That's the whole reason I'm going. You do what you can to help the planet and each other, and this is my way.
That's awesome. And you're pro sustainable tourism, which I love as well.
Yeah.
And everyone, Elaine's interview will be able to hear that as well, talking about her journey as a travel writer. And she is also working on a memoir, which I cannot wait for. And, I loved our last conversation, and everyone, you'll hear it soon. So just keep up with us at bigblendradio.com about that. But you're doing all these courses, and I think that's something that connects you with Eva. And Eva, you were just in San Diego, right?
Yes, I went to to BoucherCon, which is a mystery writers convention.
See?
San Diego is beautiful, and we're going to Cabo San Lucas in November.
See? There you go. And we're going to go into Tucson in November too. So how about that? We're going to go home and we're going to have to go to Saguaro National Park. We have to go, see our old stomping grounds and all that good stuff. And, but yeah, Eva, you want to tell everybody about the Tucson, the anthology real quick while we're on the show so people know about it through
my
the
trouble
Tucson
in
Sisters.
My trouble in Tucson?
Yeah.
We wrote we have the Festival of Books, Tucson Festival of Books here in March. It is the 4th largest book festival in the country. It's enormous, we think. It's fun. I run the Tucson Sisters in Crimes booth there. So our anthology, Trouble in Tucson, came out right before the festival this year. It's a collection of short stories about trouble in Tucson. You get funny ones, you get serious ones. It's a really nice collection, and you can find the link to it on my website.
There it is, evaeldridge.com. And she edited the book. So there you go.
And I edited the book. I curated and edited the book. Yeah. I of course I'm going to talk it up because I think it's cute, and I've gotten a lot of good. Nobody's reviewed it. It would be nice if somebody would do a review on it, but yeah. But besides that, it's still a cute collection of stories, and it's from people all over. They're not just Tucson authors. I have people from New Mexico and from other states that are members of the Sisters in Crime organization that submitted to it. So it's pretty cool.
The crime does add to tourism. I'm just saying. So solar eclipses and crime. I want to thank everyone for joining us here. Tiffany, thanks for being back on the show. We can't wait to see you and Bob, Buddy and the cats soon. So everyone, Tiffany's bedandbreakfast.com. Steve, say hi to Lisa for us, and thank you so much for being back on the show. You can learn more. Go to spencerhouse.com. We'll talk to you again soon, I hope, Steve.
You bet. Sounds good.
Thank you. And Elaine, everyone keep up with Elaine at tripwellgal.com. She's got so many stories on her site and some also on our site. So we'll make sure everyone gets links. So thanks so much, Elaine.
Thank you, Lisa. Lots of fun meeting everyone.
Absolutely. And thanks again, Eva. We'll see you soon. Actually, we'll see Eva in a few months here. So that's exciting. So evaeldridge.com is the website for her. And again, big shout out and thank you to Ward in San Diego. See how we tied it back to San Diego for him? I just got to say that. Best Employment Attorney, sandiego.com. He's awesome. And again, very active in the tourism community. So keep up with him and follow his shows on bigblendradio.com. Thanks, everyone. Have fun planning your adventures for this solar eclipse. Take care.